In this video, we take the RAV4 from this to this.
Stop it. We're not saying that on camera.
We're going to be throwing on a lift kit, adding a new set of wheels and tires, upgrading the headlights, and upgrading the fog lights, and this thing will be ready to go. Without further ado, let's just jump into it and start with the longest, most boring part of the build of all time, and that's the headlights. And since we're replacing the headlights, we're actually gonna retrofit these with some projectors in the middle here and a more powerful HID. Before we pull these off the car, because I don't want to ruin a good thing, let's see if we could start modding the new headlight. These are the new headlights we're gonna be running on Emily's car. Brand new. They're definitely an Amazon special. These come with like plastic or pieces of paper on the sockets here. There's only one way to adjust them. And we're gonna be upgrading these in every way, shape, and form. They're gonna get a new projector for the low beam. They're gonna get an upgraded high beam bulb. You're not gonna get some halos or LEDs. I think that's really cheesy, but if you like it, that's for you. But what we're gonna do today is we're gonna throw a heat gun on here and we're gonna heat up this little rubber gasket all along this headlight and essentially peel these apart. Now, I've seen videos of people do this and they've said it's taken 4 hours a headlight. I got my cozy garage, there's some sunlight out, and I want to get started on the slow thing first before we throw the wheels and tires on her car. The reason why is because what good is a car that looks good if she can't see at night? So let's get started on these, and then once we knock these out, we'll move on to lifting the car and then throwing on a set of wheels and tires. Perfect. All right, now that we got the headlight reflector out, there's going to be a little tab on the bottom there. We're going to throw in these projectors, and I got Emily some honeycomb Johnnies. And the cool thing about these is there is no H1 bulb already installed. It's just the projector housing. And there's a little mirror in here with a motor, and when she turns on her high beam, she's going to have double high beam. She'll have a high beam here and a high beam there. And we're gonna throw these in right now. You're gonna have to take this little lip in here and Dremel it away so that it fits flush with the rest of the headlight. It looks like we're gonna take away like 1/4 of an inch of material in there. All of it's gonna fall, and we're just gonna grind this out so that way that shaft can fit through here perfectly. It's a little late in the night, but hey, why not? We got a garage we can work in here. We got both headlights sorted in terms of the projectors. Now, pro tip, with these, there's a little like blank plug here that you drill out, and then you can remove the little flag that was in the front here with a screw. And then I ran the high beam switch through that hole. I'll put a gasket there. And then I actually had to drill out the back of the headlights to make sure that that little nut can get screwed in. Tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to put these bad boys on the car after we take the bumper off before I seal them up to make sure that the HIDs that I'm going to be popping in here, H1 6000K, will be aimed level. The worst thing that people do is when they do their retrofit is they don't align the headlight, and like one will be angled like this, and it's just not right. Just to make sure I'm setting myself up for success, I have the plugs in the back of the headlight pointing the same exact way. So that way at least the bulb goes in with the same arrangement, and then I can make micro adjustments. It shouldn't be that hard, but that'll save you a lot of time. And then before everything gets sealed back up, we're gonna give these a nice wipe down on the inside with a microfiber, and then we'll heat everything back up. I also got more sealant that I can put in here. Make sure everything seals up, put everything on there, and we should be good to go. Yeah, so we're gonna pause on those because I have to lift the car up to install the lift and the new wheels and tires, and that way it'll make it easier to remove the bumper and put on the headlights. So let's introduce the new wheel and tire setup. We're going with a Reika 17x8 plus 20 wheel. The factory wheels are plus 45, so it's essentially going to move the wheel out towards the outside of the car, 20 millimeters, 25 millimeters. which I'm really excited for because I hate how sunken in the wheels look, especially in the rear. Look how sunken in that is. If you pan over to the Sequoia, the wheels are not sunken in. They look very nice. So we got these, and in order to make these fit perfectly, we're actually going to install the Northwoods Performance lift kit. And there are a million videos online on how to install this lift kit, so I'm not really going to do a detailed rundown on how to install this lift kit because you can find that, but I am going to show you the steps required so we can put these on. The tire that we're running is a Nitto Nomad Grappler 245 65 17, and you can tell it's already, I would say, maybe an inch or two taller overall than the tire that's on there for the factory. You know, when you put on a bigger tire, everyone says you can re-gear or whatever. This thing has V6 and 300 horsepower, so I'm not going to re-gear, but I am going to lift the car so we have more clearance down in here and down in here. I don't want to do any cutting. I don't want to do any chopping. I just want to make sure the wifey gets a wider and taller tire on her rig. So let's just dive into that, shall we? All right, we got the factory shock out, and it is really tight up in here. I had to use two 17-inch wrenches to get in there and get it out, and then use my fingers. Getting it back in is going to be a pain, and this is really going to slow down the rear. But the kit that we ordered came with upgraded rear shocks. You could tell the Toyota ones are really nice. I mean, these are blue. They have a Toyota stamp on them. I don't know who makes these. I assume this would be KYB. I mean, there's even Japanese writing on here. This is a Bilstein in the rear. Bilsteins tend to ride a little bit firmer than factory shocks. Even Bilstein rides a little bit firmer than our iBox on our Sequoia. And I'm okay with the firmness because this Emily's always going to have this car loaded in the rear with dogs or groceries, and the tires are going to be a lot bigger. So it's okay. It's just going to be a little bit more firmer in the back. But since this is out, instead of us trying to do this underneath the car, I'm just going to zip this off and then transfer this bracket over to the shock while it's out of the car. After I finished up the driver's side, I moved on to the passenger side, and the process was exactly the same. Add in the new spring, add in a new end link, add in the new shocks, and you're all good to go. All right, we got the other side done. Jack out from under the car. All right, big reveal time. Let's see if she settles. That's pretty sick. All right, now that the rear is done, let's move on to the front. Super simple. You're gonna do the 3 bolts on top, or nuts on top, 2 bolts holding it to the lower control arm, ABS sensor, and then do the new end links, which they are provided are longer. So I'm just going to time lapse this, and hopefully we can drive it while the sun is still up. It's, well, what, 2 something right now, 2:28 right now. Sun is sets in Washington around 4:20. So fingers crossed we can get this done in 2 hours. We got the driver's side front all done, looking sick. Now before we put the wheel on, now is a really good time to take advantage of the access we have to the wheel well here. And I'm actually going to start to remove the front bumper now. That way, when the lights finally get here, which, man, it's 3 o'clock, we're waiting on Amazon. When they finally get here, we can put in the new lights and aim them with the bumper off. So I'm going to pull this bumper right now before we put on the wheel, so that way I get access on this side, and then when we go do the other side, I'll do the same. All right, we got the entire front bumper off, and now it's time to make sure the headlights are aimed evenly. All right, let's pop this on in here. Oh.
My fingers got in the camera.
Here we go, baby. On, Okay, so the left one, the bulb is definitely not in the center. See how there's a hot spot on the right one and the left one doesn't have a hot spot? Don't worry about the height. I will adjust the height once we actually install the headlights. Like, obviously they're not totally installed. But see how that has a hot spot where you want it, and this one is just kind of up in the sky? So the bulb on this one is not where we want it to be. For Emily's fog lights, we're also going to switch out the factory Toyota ones that use a halogen bulb to somewhat of a Baja Design / Dio Dynamics knockoff. These are iJDM toy, they're just some junk brand, but I do like the housings because they're metal and it comes with a shroud. The factory ones are great if you want to just switch out the bulb and run them as is, but this will make the front bumper look a little bit more rugged, and that light output on these is supposed to be crazy compared to these. Another great thing about these iJDM toys is there's actually a little leveler adjuster on the bottom here. So when I mount this in the bumper, it's going to go flush against the bumper holes, and then if the lights aim too high or too low, we'll get in there and we'll lower or raise the lights so Emily can see a little bit better at night. But you can already tell the difference between these two. Also in weight, like this doesn't weigh that much. This one weighs considerably a lot more. So we're gonna throw this on her bumper, and then the day got away from us today. It's already dark. It's 4:58, and it rained a little bit while we were aiming those headlights. So we're gonna throw this on the bumper. It's real simple. The bumper has a slot on the back and then 2 screws right here and right here, and one of the sides of these goes in the slot and one of the sides of these goes in the bumper screws. Now I will say this, for those of you who don't realize, the 2011 RAV4 2007 through 2012 will fit Tacoma oval fogs. Same fogs on this car as it is a Toyota Tacoma, Toyota Sequoia, anything that's oval. I know a lot of people upcharge for these online if you type in RAV4 fog lights, but honestly it's the same exact thing. So don't get ripped off. These will work. Toyota Tacoma fog lights will work perfectly. Let me give you a rundown of the entire project. It took me 3 days. I purchased every single thing on here, and I'll add links in the description if you want to purchase things. It was about $3,000 for the wheels, the tires, the lift kit, the headlights. Everything I got was on a budget. I didn't buy very expensive things. The most expensive thing that I got for this car were the wheels and tires. And honestly, I feel like if you're going to spend the money, get something great. I have a lot of experience with the Nittos. I've had the Recon Grappler. I have the Recon Grapplers on my Sequoia. I have NT01s on the Corolla. And this is our second set of Nomad Grapplers. Emily's old Volkswagen Alltrack had a set of Nomad Grapplers, and I absolutely love them. There's only one thing left to do, and that's hand the keys over to Emily and let her enjoy this thing and take it on some rip. I will say the car rides really good. If you do the Northwoods Performance upgrade and you go with the Bilsteins in the rear, it's going to ride a little bit stiffer than the factory suspension. All Bilsteins ride a little bit more stiff than factory suspension. Front feels amazing. Those are KYB struts, so they're doing fantastic. There's no rubbing, the clearance is perfect, and a plus 20 wheel makes the car fit a little bit better. That makes the wheels fit a little bit better in the wheel well than the plus 40s that were in. One thing I do recommend is go with a minimum of a 245 65/17 tire. I almost wish we went a little bit bigger, because if you look over here, it looks like the tire could go just a little bit more and give this thing a little bit more meat. But overall, we're super stoked on this project. I don't know if I'm going to do any more RAV4 videos. I think we're done with this car. We did CarPlay, we did a lift kit, we did wheels, we did tires, we did headlights, we did fog lights. For now, the RAV4 is done. If you do have a 3rd gen RAV4 and you're looking to mod it and you're looking to see some potential on what it can be, hit us up, drop us a comment. I will say this, I think the 3rd gen RAV4 is the most underrated SUV on the market today. You can get these from 7 to 15 grand. They come with a V6, they come with a locking diff, they have 300 horsepower. I don't know why more people aren't buying these and building them for the trail. 1,000 times better than the 4th gen RAV4 with a stupid CVT transmission and a Scion TC engine. In fact, I used to own one of those, and those cars are dog shit. But yep, they sell like hotcakes. I don't know. Other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys on the next one.